Good morning. Good morning. I'm tired. Actually went to Disneyland yesterday for my bachelorette party. It was very fun. If you hear any talking in the background, it's my neighbors. Walls are very thin. But today's topic, I'm kind of vibing with like talking about religion and faith. I know it's kind of like a shy, not a shy, but like a sketchy, not a sketchy, controversial. I used to always be very like, shh, don't tell anyone about my faith, because like I hate to be the one to bring up onto someone something that makes them uncomfortable. I don't like doing that, really. And I'm never the one to like push anything on anybody. Like, you believe what you want to believe in. This, like I said, this is just me talking about things that have happened to me and just my experiences, because I've learned I am never alone with anything, thanks to TikTok. So faith and religion, really, like, and my experience with this, I'm Catholic. I believe in God and the universe and just spirit. I'm very spiritual. But I did my confirmation, first communion, all that good stuff. I did all of that. And like many, I feel like people my age have, like, how do you say, you go through like a dip in your journey with religion and faith and all that stuff, and you kind of get lost and then you somehow find your way back. But I am very like, I'm really bad at listening and understanding and school and rules, and I'm not good at remembering stuff like that, and I always tend to like think about things too deeply, and then it's like I lose track of what really is the point of it all. Like with this, I'm all over the place. But I just really wanted to talk about this. Funnily enough, I'm going to a retreat tomorrow because, if you didn't know, I'm getting married. I was gonna be like, I'm not gonna say anything about getting married, but I'm saying stuff about it, okay? Let me be. But I'm going to a retreat tomorrow because in order to get married through the church, you have to like take classes. Luckily enough, the church that we're doing only requires one retreat, and it's an all-day thing, but like you kind of get it all out of the way in one day, which I really like. But like in my confirmation era, oh my gosh, we went to so many retreats. I felt like, but I was also like in high school, but I felt like it lasted forever. But like I said, I'm all over the place with this video. But like I said, just shut up. Sorry, I keep saying that. But okay, I was kind of nervous to make this, but I also just wanted to vibe out and see if anyone feels the same as I do or has the same like misunderstandings, I guess. And I said my background. Okay, there is differences obviously between faith and religion, but I think without faith there is no religion. Religion is just like a bunch of organized things, and there's rules, there's structures, there's like a higher up, if you will, like the new pope and stuff. I do like history and stuff, so all like the things that have happened like in the Bible and things like that, I think that's really interesting. However, I think it gets lost, like where it got messy for me is when people, they humanized religion too much. You know, God is very otherworldly. I see him as like very like, you know, God, like he's not just a normal dude, but he has like, and then see, like I said, I'm not that smart. I'm not book smart. I know like there's certain things, like my future husband is very book smart, so he's like, anything regarding like facts and stuff, I'm like, tell him, and he, you know, he knows everything. But I'm very like, I'll get things wrong because it's how I remember it. So don't like, if you want to like correct me in the comments, feel free to, but I probably am saying things wrong and I'm probably incorrect with a lot of things. But like I said, this is just my take on things. But I feel like religion gets a little bit funky when too many people humanize God and like religion and take it into their, which is what you're supposed to do, but I think like they take it into their how do you say, like they make it fit their life, which is what you're supposed to do, but you're supposed to keep it in, you know, not force. Like how I see religion, I'm not going to force my brother to see it that way, because it's not his life. Like my life is not his life. My thoughts are not his thoughts. So like if you have teachers teaching like certain things priests saying things, and they see it in their context and they're telling you, no, it needs to be this way, you know, like their life is not your life. So I think it gets a little messy in there. But if you take it down to like the root of things, I think it's a very beautiful thing. And I do think there is comfort within like the religion and things like that. But I believe like my misunderstanding kind of came in like when I guess I just didn't agree with certain things, and like because if I were to be a certain way, then I would be like, I guess, not in line with the rules, and just I guess like, no, I'm not a good enough Catholic, I'm not good enough for anything because I do certain things and I wear certain things, and it's like, but I feel like in my conscience and in my being, I feel like that's okay, you know. And like for other people, such as like the whole LGBTQ plus section and stuff like that, like abortion, their views on abortion are different. My definition of abortion could be different than someone else's definition of abortion. Sex before marriage, things like that. I feel like once you get too detailed and you lose sight of what really is like the main umbrella of religion, I just feel like that's when things could get misunderstood. But like I said, I think I'm just venting at this point. I'm kind of nervous to go to my retreat for tomorrow. That was the whole point of this. I felt like I should just talk about it and desensitize it for myself, because I think, like I said, misunderstanding leads to, I'll tell you a quick little story time, which is why I think like there was many instances of this. I think I was a freshman in high school, maybe younger. No, I'm pretty sure a freshman, because that's when I had my first boyfriend. He was my favorite boyfriend. He was very sweet. I'm really glad I had him as my first boyfriend. But you know, you're young and your hormones are crazy then. Like I said, I've been through a lot, and I think certain things shaped me to be the way I am now. So, sorry, I'm trying to stay on track. Like I said, if like okay, gathering my thoughts. I wrote things down, but again, I tend to like go all over the place with telling stories. But yeah, okay. So like I had my first boyfriend, and then like, you know, you have to, if you don't stay in line with the commandments, and then you go to confession and you have to confess, and then you're able to like receive communion and all that good stuff. So I was going to confession so I could receive communion, but like I had a boyfriend, and then, you know, hormones are crazy, whatever. And then I go to confess, and obviously like the priest that I was confessing to was not very happy that I was doing said things, and in my opinion, and like I said, in my heart, I felt like I was being okay. Like, you know, I didn't feel bad about anything that I was doing, but in like a short story long, I got yelled at, and then I was crying. But my parents never yelled at me, so when like authoritative figures yell at me, I think it just really traumatizes me, because it's like, if your parents don't yell at you and some like random person who has authority yells at you, and it's like, it kind of throws you off a little bit. And if you're not like raised in that type of a household, then it's like, what the hell is going on. So I think that's what kind of just stained. And then obviously I returned to confession and things like that. And then I quickly realized, like, oh my goodness, I'm a horrible person because I've done all these things, and it doesn't in line with like the box of religion. So it's like, I think that's what kind of stained it a little bit, and I kind of lost track of like, what is the real purpose of religion and my faith and my relationship with all that stuff. I wasn't even really thinking of God and all the beautiful things and safeness that one would feel with religion, because I was too focused on not being a bad person, quote unquote. And in my eyes, I think I should just, and what I'm doing now as I'm mending my relationship with religion and God and all that stuff, is kind of mold it to your life and take the teachings and all that stuff and align it to your beliefs. And if it feels right in that little person inside of you, then I think you should be okay. And again, there are extremists out there, and it's like too extreme of anything is not good in general. That's also a side note that I thought I'd throw out there. But I do believe, like, my future husband, I hate saying fiance, really. I mean, we're literally getting married next month, so I'd like to say husband. He's really helped me like mend my relationship with all that stuff and comforted me in going forward, because I did want to get married in church with a mass and all that stuff, and he was like, I'm down too. But and he was comforting me to make me not feel scared about like what other priests or teachers or whatever would say. So yeah, I'm very thankful. Oh my god, it's been 12 minutes of me yapping. But again, I'll probably come back to this once I have my thoughts together, but I figured it would make for a good video. And I hadn't uploaded, sorry, gosh, I hadn't uploaded a sit-down talking video. So here's my sit-down talking video. I think that's all I have to say. But I missed one thing. The difference. Oh no, I did say that. The difference between religion and faith. Yeah, no, I did say that. Sorry. That's all I have to say now. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye.